In this story, The Darkest Night, I'm Joanne Green. It wasn't literally the darkest night of 2020. That would have been a week or so later, during the winter solstice. But for me, the night our family tried to celebrate Hanukkah on Zoom in the height of the COVID epidemic felt the darkest and most bleak of any night I can recall. Our younger son, his pregnant wife, and 2-year-old daughter were all sick with COVID. They'd been so careful not to expose themselves to danger, particularly given the pregnancy. But their nanny's husband had taken ill, infecting his wife, and the dominoes fell. They were not only very sick, but also angry and terribly frightened. What would this mean for the pregnancy? If either of the parents' conditions worsened, who would take care of their toddler? Back then, people were dying of COVID. The numbers were staggering. I felt helpless, as there was absolutely nothing I could do for them from 400 miles away. That son was in one small box on our Zoom screen. He and his family understandably didn't want to participate and were anxious to get this pathetic little virtual candle lighting over as soon as possible. That year, there were no songs being sung, no presents exchanged. There were no miracles to celebrate. In another box on our screen sat our older son. He was alone in what appeared to be a darkened garage. "Where are you?" we asked. "At a friend's house," he said. Curious. Something is wrong, I thought. Where was his wife of barely a year? We knew that things hadn't been going well, and over the course of the year, it seemed that our son was drifting further away from us and from himself. He called us shortly after the Zoom ended. "Thank you so much for reaching out," I said, relieved of the struggle not to immediately call him myself. I was learning to respect boundaries, to wait for him to share what was up, if and when he so chose. In the past, I'd come to understand, we were overly attached, that my perspective and opinions were given too much weight. My expectations were burdensome, and whether I said anything or bit my tongue, it was clear that I wanted more. Though his pulling away was painful, I knew it was something he had to do. "I've moved out," he said, "and am planning to travel up north soon. I need to spend a few days alone, and then I'll come home." Uncharacteristically, I paused, letting the news sink in. And then for once, I said what I'd hoped to say in such a situation. "I'm sorry you're hurting. We'll welcome you whenever you get here." The thing about darkness, about dark days and dark nights, is that they don't last forever. After darkness, there's light. It may not be a panacea, a solution, or a reversal of fortune, but some light, however dim, will shine. Our younger son's family recovered beautifully, and our daughter-in-law got her sense of taste back before their healthy son was born. Our older son was able to move beyond his failed marriage, learning more about himself and what would be non-negotiable in future relationships. Today, he's happily remarried in a healthy partnership with a precious son who reflects their light and love. While I'll never forget that dark Hanukkah night when we were all trapped inside, fearful of a virus that was taking far too many lives, I will instead focus on the resilience of our sons and the remarkable lives they're continuing to build for themselves and their families. If you enjoy the memoir-style micro-essays that I read on In This Story, please consider checking out my full-length book entitled By Accident, A Memoir of Letting Go. It's now available for sale on Amazon and Audible as a paperback, audiobook, or ebook. You can also order a copy through your favorite independent bookseller, which could use your support. Speaking of which, thanks so much for your support. Again, the title is By Accident, A Memoir of Letting Go by yours truly, Joanne